Hey, we're back after a little break here. We've got former Texas Longhorn and Buffalo Bills safety Aaron Williams here. Great first 40 minutes or so of him just really sharing his experience in transitioning from high school into college. Aaron, before we start talking about your time with the Buffalo Bills, there are a lot of student athletes in high school and maybe even college who are watching this. Before we talk about life in the NFL, let's talk about one thing. I know you could share a lot more, but if there's one thing you would share with a potential athlete that may have a chance, or a college athlete that is maybe making this decision coming up here this winter after the season, what's the one thing you would do differently, knowing what you know now that you didn't know back in 2011 when you were finishing your career with Texas and you made that decision to either go to the pro, or is there something that you learned in college that you said, man, I wish I had done that different, and that may have changed you to get you more prepared for life in Buffalo or life after football? What would that one thing be that you do differently?
Probably I'd have been more technical in my playbook at the time. I would have definitely not have relied on my athletic ability
Mm,
and would have actually got to understand the game better, how what makes how to make the game a lot easier than what it is, instead of like relying on my speed and my strength to handle everything. That's one thing, is be more focused in the playbook. That's one for sure. The second would probably be I would probably honestly the second would probably be taking more visits. That's
okay.
something for sure I do regret in
Hmm.
my recruiting process, is not allowing myself to actually go further beyond than where I live to possibly further my education, and also get that experience of just leaving home and being away from parents.
Yeah.
Um, I never got to like go visit anywhere, so I definitely would have taken a lot more visits. I think that's the only two, was just taking my official visits to other schools, and
Hmm.
then when I got to school, it's not that I wasn't in my playbook, but what I know now, I could have been a lot better, which is obvious because I was young and didn't know what I was doing. So um, probably those two things.
Yeah, Aaron, it's a great point because I think a lot of athletes know, hey, I run 4.5. I'm 6 foot. I've already run with some of the top five-star athletes in high school. I'm going to be that guy. And I think it's a great point that these young athletes need to understand is that, when you get at the higher you go, University of Texas, D1 football, and in the NFL, everybody is big, everybody is fast, everybody's strong. You've heard me say that many times. And if you rely on that and that starts to erode, which it will, because it's just a physical skill, you have to have that playbook. You got to have that film study. You got to have that mental preparation. And I know you learned that the hard way. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Boy, did I learn the hard way. My goodness. Let me tell you all this, man. I hope all young athletes are listening. Everyone at the highest level was great in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone at the highest level was even greater at college. And there are even some that are even better in the league. So I thought I had speed, which I did. I wasn't slow by any means. When I tell you, when I got to that league and I got on that island, I realized this is a big boys game. Because not only there were some receivers that I knew wasn't faster than me, but because they knew how to use their body, or knew how to use the field, or knew exactly what coverage we're in or what protection we're in, and kind of fit in that little hole in that spot. There's a lot of things that I did not know before going to league. I just thought, I ran a 4.5 at the dry combine. I put up a 19, 225. Ain't no corner, and I was listed at corner. Ain't no corners out there doing it at the time. So I was like, I'm ready for the run game. So I'm ready for the pass game, apparently, because I ain't run slow. But I realized that in my position, you have to understand what your position is and what your position is made for in the game. Cornerbacks, yeah, we all want to be a overall great player. We all want to be the big hitter who gets interceptions, who has an IQ like Ed Reed, and has the swag like a created 2K player. That's a perfect person, but that's not reality. It don't happen like that. Some guys are just faster than you. Some guys know that they're not fast, so they have to be more technical about things. The first 2 years, I relied on my athletic ability, and now focusing on my playbook and my coverages and where my help is and where my stance is, where are we at in the middle of the field, what's the game clock, what quarter are we in, how many timeouts do they have, like what's the situation. There's a lot of things that go in. People don't understand. There are a lot of things that go through a player's mind before a ball is even snapped.
Yeah.
A good one, at least, a real good one, at least. Average one will just line up and say, okay, I know it's 11 personnel and I have this. A great player will be like, all right, before snap, all right, 11 personnel. We're at the 35-yard line. We're midfield. Okay. Okay, the X, Julio Jones at the X. Oh, okay, that's weird. Why is Tyreek Hill at number 3? Okay, something's up. Why is Randall Cobb behind the running back, and then you have Travis Kelce flexed out? There are things like that that are said before the ball's even snapped. So being more particular in details. I want every young athlete, if you focus just on the details of the game and not worry about how many interceptions you have or how many tackles, how about worry about where your help is in cover 3 or what you can and cannot do in cover 2? Or like for a corner in cover 2, I can get my hands on a receiver for once and not worry about getting beat deep because I have over the top help. These are things that you have to process in your mind to be great. You think Stephon Gilmore is just out there pressing the whole game? No. And Stephon Gilmore was my rookie. I know how he thinks. Yeah, he has his particular ways, but those ways he realized those helped and those worked for him. So you have to understand who you are as a player, what you're good at, realize it. Okay, cool. But focus on what you're bad at. That's one thing players don't do. They're all focused like, yeah, I ran a 4.4. My shuttle time was a 3.2. Like, that's great, man. But what you tell your safety that this post coming, that this crossover is going to come, this bang 8 is going to come because you realize it because all the film work you studied. Like, the more detailed you are in your game, the easier this game is. If you worry about what your job is and how to excel from that job and not try to do more than what you're asked, I promise you all the money, all the fame, all the whatever you're looking for is going to come. But who doesn't want a good player? Who doesn't want to be around a person that's a winner, that's successful? No, I mean, it's hard not to be. So if you are focused on your craft, focus on your craft first, everything else will come. And that's one thing I would tell myself is focus on your craft. Don't worry about the outside stuff. And that's what I was focused on. I was focused on where my appearances at, where my signings.
Right.
Like, I'm not bad. I'm out here balling.
Right.
Where my signings at? But then I started focusing on more of like, I'm not getting appearances outside of the white lines. And then my play started decreasing. Then who definitely, y'all, all young athletes. I was a 2nd round draft pick, 34th overall. My 2nd year was rated the worst cornerback in the NFL. I kid you not. You can look it up. Go on NFL stats right now, and you can look at my last. I'm the very bottom. That right there, I was so close to losing a job. I was so close to being out of the NFL, out of a dream job because I was so focused on the girls that I wasn't getting or the parties that I wasn't at or the signings and the things that I wasn't getting approached to or having big companies like Nike and Adidas not coming to me. And I thinking now, I was like, why would they? Bro, you're not out there having Pro Bowl stats. Like, who are you? Like, just because you came from Texas and what? Nah, bro, it don't work like that. Everybody, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, USC, Cal, those guys are here too, and they're doing way more than you are. So humble yourself quickly before you're on the street, for real.
Yeah.
And when you get on,
you have a good point because these high school athletes, I'm a 4-star, I'm a 5-star.
Man, none of that
I went to Alabama. Talk to them. I mean, you brought up a great point. Those stars get erased when you go to college. And when you get to the NFL after the draft, nobody cares what you were drafted at. Can you play or can you not play? I mean, that to me was one of the biggest things I saw you go through. And it's a great testimony on how you handled it, because you're going to have some adversity. You're going to have some downs. I mean, talk about how you dealt with that 2nd year being the lowest ranked cornerback in the league.
It was hard. I have never been up to that point, I have always been successful. So that was made it really hard. I think the only time I didn't have a successful like season or instance or an event was probably when I dropped the punt return against OU. Other than that, I never lost then ever. So to be hit with being the realization of, dang, bro, you thought you were meant to be here, but are you really meant to be here?
Mm-hmm.
That's when it started running. And I was like, okay, you got, first of all, I didn't like being in Buffalo when I first got there. Let's keep that clear. I'm gonna keep it 100% with you. When you move from Texas, everybody from Texas knows there are different rules. We live a totally different rule. So from being um exited out into something where I'm very comfortable and know everybody, to a place that's, first of all, completely different culture. The people are
Mm-hmm.
completely different. The food's different. The way people move are different. And I wasn't used to it. So I was already hating something that really didn't really matter. And then on top of that, my playing wasn't what I was thinking that my play was going to be. So it was hard to manage, or not manage. It was hard to block out the fans telling you how bad you are, and your players saying like, your teammates saying like, "Hey man, like you ain't playing like that." Like, it hurts to hear that, but it's true. And because at the end of the day, these are guys' lives. This is how they feed their families. So if one player is not playing good, it ruins the whole mechanism, the whole block. Everybody falls down. So they get on you, and you just had to understand that. And I was already hard on myself as it is. I knew I was playing bad. That's what made it worse, was not only that I know I was playing bad, it was like the fans are now telling me, my friends are telling me, and they're like what's going on? So it was very hard, but at the same time it was like, I know I can do this. This is not who I am. So then I sat down and I wrote down what's important to me, what's not important to me, what's working, what's not working. And then I asked the veteran guys, the guys like Fred Jackson, who've been there 10 plus years, and Drayton Florence, those and Ryan Fitzpatrick, what do they do to be last longer in this league? And I started paying attention. And then I realized those little things work. I really don't have to be the cool fun guy that parties and drinks his ass off all the time. That doesn't no, not everybody likes that. Some people may like it, but to the important people that mean something to somebody, especially when you're dealing with a team setting, none of that matters. And so they brought me in and said, "Hey, look, we know how you can play. We've seen it in practice, but you're not transitioning the game. So obviously you're not preparing well." So okay, I'll prepare better. Are you eating right? Hell no. I was eating McDonald's. I was winning Wendy's, McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't get no chef. I was still this college kid that thought he can eat the terrible foods. So I changed my diet. Then it was, you take care of your body, you're getting the right sleep. Are you getting your acupunctures? It was a lot of little detail, guys. It's never the big thing where people can see. It's literally the things that people don't see. It's little details that people miss that are really more important than you seeing Antonio Brown be on a commercial. Well, the reason why Antonio Brown's on a commercial is because he did this, and this before he got to even
Mm-hmm.
close to where he's at now. So there's a lot of sacrifices that you have to make, but you got to ask yourself, are you willing to make those sacrifices to be great? Because you can't, I'm not gonna say you can't, but there's not a lot of people that can do both. I've seen people that can do both, but they're freaks of natures. The majority of us, you got to pick. You're going to be the party animal that wants to have the NFL life, the cars, what people see, or do you want to have the respect from your peers, where not only do they know you're a good person off the field, but they know you're about your business. You're not about messing around, and you're about being great. You're about succeeding. However that works for your teammate, that's who they want. They don't want the flashy guy that talks a lot but doesn't produce when it's time to produce.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There have been guys, Deion Sanders, the guy that talks no more than anybody,
Mm-hmm.
but he's proven it. He's shown you he can lock down and talk and go do this and then go do that. Whatever his extracurricular activities were, you didn't know he was doing that, because when the time mattered and his name needed to be called and he needed to make a play, he made those plays. So
Yeah.
it's about what you want to, it's about how great do you want to be? Do you want to continue to be average, or do you want to actually be remembered? That's the thing. I wanted to be remembered. Like, it was cool, like, having the recognition, but that recognition didn't matter to me because those people don't really know what's going on. It's not, they don't know the grind. I want the people that actually, when I got a compliment from Eric Weddle, for those who don't know, really good safety for San Diego and Baltimore, and then he played for the Rams. He came up to me and was the top safety. He just got paid. We had just came in at halftime. He grabbed me and said, "Hey, bro, like, hey, I see you. You a good player." And I was like, "Me? Oh, all right. Appreciate you, bro. All right, cool." Like, that meant a lot to me because now I'm like, man, there's a guy who's done way more than I have, recognize me that, okay, he's doing something right. And right then and there, I said, whatever I'm doing, continue to do so. And I did, and it excelled. If I would have turned around and said, oh, that was cool, but the fans got me, that wasn't nothing, it would have changed. I would have been more focused on something else. But to hear my peers, a prominent player like Eric Weddle, say something like that, and then from Eric Weddle to Peyton Manning to then talking to Tom Brady to then, I was like, yeah, I need to continue to do with this regimen. And I was fortunate to last as long as I did. Unfortunately, I had a mishap, so you can say, or whatever the case may be. But I'm glad I learned early on than later, because I know it would have ate me alive to realize that I was messing around, bull crapping the whole time, when really it finally hit me and it's too late. It's already gone. It's already moved on. So I'm just glad I'm fortunate enough to finally understand how it is to be successful. Not only how to get in the business, but how to stay in the business. I'm not gonna lie to all young athletes. It is easy to get in the business. It's easy. All you gotta do is call an agent. Hey, give my guy a little tryout. Boom. Now it's up to you. Now, when you get that sign, are you going to be happy that you made it? Or are you going to be like, all right, I ain't made it yet. I'm going to still continue to grind. I'm going to still continue to make sure I'm doing little stuff to continue to be here. Because this is a privilege. It is very easy. You are all players are very replaceable. I want to say as loud, as clear as possible. And I don't care. There are guys right now who are free agents. There are Hall of Fame ballots that don't have a team. Whether that may be their performance, whether that may be off the field issues, whether that may be something, but they weren't focused. It doesn't matter the name. We know what you can do, but you're not doing it. It's what you can do for me now. Now, nobody's going to sign Peyton Manning back from retirement because he's Peyton Manning and he did what he did 5-10 years ago, whatever the case may be. We know he can't do that no more. So it's like, we need the guys now. So get that in mind. It's a business. You are very replaceable. So whatever you have to do to grind, to focus, if you got to tell, and this may be bad, if you got to tell the girlfriend, not tonight, ain't no date night tonight. Hey, I promise you, she's going to understand when you get that second contract. I promise you, she ain't going to, she has to understand you're there for a reason, to focus. And not only your girlfriend, I mean, your friends, your brother, your sister, your teacher, your mentor, your mom, your dad. It's hard to say like, hey guys, I can't right now. It's hard because you love them, but at the same time, you have to focus and realize where your goal is at, where you want to be, and how you're going to get there. And it's going to take sacrifices, and also going to take a team, but you have to understand yourself. One, are you ready to make that decision? Because once you make a decision, you have to go full throttle. There is no half-assing it. There is no, okay, I'm going to do this for 5 days, and then the other 2 days, I'm going to slack off. Because those other 2 days, I promise you, those other great players, they didn't take those days off. So it's up to you. And then at the same time, the people you're around, the support system. If you're going to be around guys that know that you have to do something like be up early, but they want you to be out, they want you to come hang with them, they're not important to you. They don't want you to be great. They're there to enjoy the experiencing that you're giving them, because they're living your life. They're not living theirs. They're living through you. Because if you weren't there, they're not living that, and they're probably not going to be there because it's like, oh man, I'm not there no more. So get your circle, get your mind, your mental right. That's one thing. Have your mental right, and then have the right people. You have those two things, you are on the right path to be successful. Now, am I guarantee you are going to be successful? Absolutely not. But it's way better than knowing that you have to be up early, but you decided to go to the club because all your boys wanted to, and it was enticing. You got to make a decision for
Yeah.
the.
Now, Aaron, I love it because right now there's a young sophomore in high school who maybe was a big time player coming into the season. And maybe there's a big time sophomore in college who thought, hey, this might be my last year. I'm going to come out early. A lot of things that you kind of went through that second year. Then you had that third year and you kind of turned the corner as a player, as a person, engaging with fans, coming to embrace Bills Mafia hated you at one point, and then you became their favorite child. I mean, some of the things you're talking about are some of the things that these kids need to do. You need to make a change to what you're doing to make it. You have to have adversity, figure out what you need to do, and then move forward. Talk to us about that. I mean, you've been talking about it, but just understand that there's guys listening who are like, man, Aaron, I'm there right now as a sophomore in high school or in college. Tell me more. What can I do to make that third year better than in the second year?
Buckle up, man, because ain't nothing smooth, especially in football. I ain't even when, and I'll put this in my experiences, even when in 2009 when we were undefeated or continued to go on the national championship undefeated, we still had adversity. We almost lost a couple games because we weren't on point, or the case may be. And I say that to say this: you can see like the New England Patriots who go 15-1, the close games that were they're undefeated, the LA Rams who had a good season. They didn't have a smooth ride. It wasn't just beating teams 24-0, 35-0, 28. It was overtime 16-13 type wins. There's adversity, everything. There's ups and downs. It's never going to be a skyrocket thing. So you always got to remember to keep your head up and keep pushing, because that's what separates the greats from the average. The greats go, damn, they got me. Damn, I got beat. Damn, they got me that game. All right, cool. What can I do to get better? What did I do that I can do a lot better the next time so it won't happen again? Or you can be, damn, man, got beat. This ain't for me, dog. Like there's a different mentality
Right.
in that. You have to be a dog. You have to understand that you are going to get beat. And even when a person like me who talks all sorts of mess, who never gets beat. I don't get beat. I let you beat me. There's a difference. You didn't beat me because of your talent, your physical ability. It was because I let you. I slipped, or I tripped, or I missed you on the jam. It is because of me, not because of you. Some people don't have those mentalities, but you have to understand that things aren't going to be 100%. You're going to get beat a couple plays. But what was the overall stat? Oh, you finished with 2 picks? With 5 touchdowns? Give me that game. I'll take that game any day. Oh, yeah, you missed a couple of tackles, but you made it up with this pick that led them to 3 points. And then you forced a fumble that led them to 7 points. That's 10 points by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
2 tackles don't mean nothing. Those 2 turnovers mean a lot more. So right. It's like, it's a balance. It's like, okay, yeah, you did miss a tackle and you could bring yourself down and you can set yourself to that lower vibration and stay there and not pout and not be great. Or you can be like, damn, all right, he got me that time, but next time, yeah, he ain't missing. I'm not missing that tackle. I know what he's going to do. I know when he comes near that sideline that he's going to hit me with a little jerk and then come back inside. It's little things like that, but you have to understand that you got to keep pushing. When coach wants to bench you because you ain't played good last week, that should be a fire up your ass. Like, all right, oh, you think he better than me? And then in practice, every single day, every rep, it's like, okay, he thought he was better than me. Next rep, I'm going to show him why he wasn't better than me. Not, damn, coach, why? He not even like that. He won't run for, Nah, that coach knows way probably more than what you think. So it's like, instead of complaining, it's easy to complain. It's harder to be like, swallow your pride. All right, coach, I hear you loud and clear. And just move on. And then when that opportunity does come, be prepared. Don't be like, coach, you should put me in. And then the guy gets hurt and then he puts you in and you don't do nothing about it.
Right.
And it's like, you'll never see the field again. So swallow your pride. Be mindful of where you want to be. Be mindful that there are ups and downs. Be mindful that no one I haven't had a perfect career. Tom Brady hasn't had a perfect career, and he's had a better career than anybody. But I can tell you, he's had his downfalls as well. So everyone has their downfalls. No one's perfect. So continue, just keep grinding. Keep your head down. Ignore the BS. Ignore the boos. Ignore the critics, because normally the boos and critics are wanting to be where you're at. So why would you want to listen to that?
Right.
Now
Hey,
listen
Aaron,
to the ones that have been there.
two other things I want to get to before I let you go here, run out of time. One of them, and you've been kind of mentioning it, is it's important your play on the field, but injuries are part of the game, and how you handle injuries and how you deal with the athletic training staff and how you work to get back being part of the team. I mean, talk about that experience and how these kids, hey, nobody goes through a career where they don't get hurt. And that feeling of, man, I'm not part of the team, and man, if I wouldn't hurt right now. I mean, talk about how you can manage injuries as a high school, college, or pro athlete to make you get better as a pro.
Well, I will say it's very rarely, and I only know maybe two people. Michael Huff is one. Michael never got hurt in his career, which
That's
is,
true.
but he don't hit, he don't tackle, so it's so different. But for me, I've had a surgery every year since I was in the league. There has never been an off season where I was free to go and travel and enjoy my vacation. I was literally every year rehabbing from some injury, from some surgery. So with that being said, injuries are going to happen. Whether it's going to be a 6 week thing or a 6 month thing, who knows? But when you do get hurt, they pay attention to that too, by the way. So
Mhm.
all the young athletes, did you show up on time? The trainer said be there at 6 a.m. and you show up at 6:30. You let them know you really don't give a damn. You don't care. The trainer said make sure you do this at home. He gives you they give you lists of exercises, stretches, and stuff you do to help increase your time of getting back early. Are you doing that at home? Or are you just sitting there and saying, okay, I'll do it. I get home and you don't do it? Are you are you in the hot tub, cold tub when they say you are? Like these things matter. They pay attention to those things. Like when you don't do those things, they're like, okay, he really doesn't care about he doesn't care about this team. He doesn't want to he doesn't want to buy in. He wants to do his own thing, and that's why he's at where he's at right now. Now, if you're in there early, on time, not giving them any trouble, doing what they say they have to do, and make sure they're doing what they need to do for you to get back on the field, and you're doing the right things. That's what they care about, because injuries happen. You're not. It's like telling me run against that wall 20 times and see if you let me know you don't get hurt. It's impossible. You're gonna feel something. You're gonna bruise, break something, because you're literally hitting people at head to head at 15 miles an hour. It's just not normal. So you're gonna get hurt. So when you do get hurt, don't get down. Get ready to when the opportunity comes again, because there's a lot of times where players' careers have blossomed because someone got hurt,
Mhm.
and that's how I mean Tom Brady. That's how Tom Brady started.
Yep.
Tom Brady. So his career got started when Drew Bledsoe went down for the Patriots, and Tom Brady ate. He
Right.
went to work. So, but at the same time, for Bledsoe, he got hurt and got replaced, but then went somewhere else and continued to play. So it's like, how do you want to? Do you want to down yourself when you are down, or do you want to pick yourself up and continue to rock?
Mhm.
Are you going to lay down? Because if you lay down, someone's gonna pass you in a day or in an hour. It's like you gotta get up and continue to go. So injuries are gonna happen to all athletes, high school, college, and shoot, we can go Mighty Mice, we can go Pop Warner. You're gonna get hurt. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen. So when it does happen, you can't help it. Hell, when my neck injury happened, I didn't know it was gonna happen. I could have easily said, you know what, that's my career. Neck injury. That's a wrap. Hell no. I got right back. I went to my trainer. I said, look, I'm about to have this neck injury, the surgery right here. What can I do to never have that happen again? We got to do this type of exercise. You got to do this type of stretching. You got to eat like this. You got to do some things to make sure that doesn't happen again. All right, cool. Let's do it. But if you're not ready to buy in, prepare yourself to get injured again. You're going to continue to do stuff that is not elevating you or not, getting you to where you got to be. It makes no sense. So keep grinding. To all the young fellas out there, if you get hurt, you're gonna get hurt. Grind like you grind hurt like you were like getting ready for a game.
Yeah.
You continue to do that, you'll be right back on the field. And if you're not back on the field, you'll have an opportunity to get back on the field.
Right.
Because
Right.
that's all you need is an opportunity. You show a coach, oh, he can play. Okay, yeah, cool. But if you're out there complaining and then you go out there and you don't do nothing, you can forget about seeing another opportunity. The only opportunity you'll ever get probably is because two people went down. And when two people went down, that's not good. Not good at all. So when the opportunity presents yourself, be ready, prepare yourself like you were going in, prepare yourself like you're a starter. If you're not a starter, pretend like you are and see how far that gets you. Because when your time comes, it's going to be so easy. It's going to be like muscle memory. You're going to be out there like, I'm sure some players been out there like that where they made a play and was like, damn, I made that play. That's crazy. Because there's been some
Right.
plays where I ain't gonna lie, I was like, yeah, I did that. I did that play, but it's all because I prepared myself. I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew what they were gonna do, and I trusted myself. I trusted my ability, and at the same time, I had fun doing it. I wasn't thinking about what the coach was gonna think if I missed tackle, because if you start thinking like that, you're gonna miss tackles. You're gonna
Right.
miss doing this. Prepare yourself so when game day happens, it's like putting on a video game. You're just doing it. You're just playing to be playing. You ain't gotta worry about like, oh dang, I didn't really prepare this week. I don't know what they're gonna do on third downs. I don't know if they're gonna do a curl route or a slant route. Now I really gotta, focus on my athletic ability because
Hmm.
I ain't got like the quick cuts or the power moves. I'm definitely in trouble. So it's all about your mentality, your mental, the people you're around, and your actions. Like you can't. It's easy to say I want to do this or I want to be that, and I want to blah blah blah. But what are you doing to get there? What steps are you taking? What sacrifices? You got to ask yourself this and that. If you don't see those things, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you getting better? So, yeah.
Yeah, no, great points here. And we'll finish up with this. We can go on and talk about, your stats and your favorite plays. But once again, we're here to, I know how passionate you are, like I am, about helping student athletes in high school and in college. Let's talk about mental health. I was raised in an era where it was kind of suck it up. I don't care about anxiety. I don't care about depression. Go do your job. And your mom and I kind of raised you the same way. But mental health is an issue, and it's something that you had to deal with being away from us here in Texas and Buffalo and dealing with the ups and downs of fan experience, things like that. Talk to these players about how you handle how important it is to make sure you're managing your mental health with the ups and downs of being either a student athlete or a professional athlete.
I will say, even to this day, I still don't have it figured out, but I do have a better control than I did before. It's a learning process every single day. There's something new that you figure out. There's a trigger that you never knew you had. For example, I think I'm telling you the story. I never was claustrophobic. I could take CT scans, MRIs like it's nothing. All I do, go to sleep. All right, 2 hours later, I'm back. For whatever reason, as soon as I got hurt with my neck injury, I remember I had to go back into a CT scan and I got claustrophobic. And I was like, okay, that's weird. Like I could do this in my sleep, but I can't handle closed places anymore. Then I realized that, my anxiety has gotten a lot worse. But all this didn't come until football really kind of ended. It was that transition. So I will say this to high school, college, and even pro players that do listen to this. There is and will become a time where football will be no longer who you are and what you do. Whether that be the end of your senior year in high school, senior year in college, sophomore year in college, or your first, second, third year in the NFL. At some point, the game is no longer going to be there. What are you doing to prepare yourself for when that happens? Because I can tell you personally, I did not prepare myself for when football ended. Yeah, am I set? Yeah, I am set. But there are people who are not set, who can't just do what I did and kind of have a lot more time to buy by to figure out what I want to do in life. There will be time where it'll be week 3, second quarter, and boom, injury. That could have been your last play. What is it now that you are no longer wearing pads, helmet, and getting ready to prepare yourself every week. What are you doing to prepare yourself for after football? And I think a lot of athletes don't look at that because a lot of athletes think they're gonna make it to the next level,
Yeah.
to the higher level, and it's gonna be football's moving forever. There's only 4 players, right? Look, first of all, Tom Brady is the only player right now that has lasted 20 years in the NFL right now. The only player that I know of. I could be wrong, but I'm probably not. There's only 1 or 2 of those guys. And then after that, there's only like 10 to 15 guys who see year 12, 11. There's maybe 80 guys that maybe see year 3. It varies. I probably see those numbers backwards. 80 guys that see year 1 to 2, 3, 5 or 6 guys that see year 10, and then 1 or 2 people that get to year 20. So with that being said, there are a lot of people in this world. There's a lot of people that want to play this game football and want to have the opportunity to play in the NFL. Not everybody gets that 7-year experience. Not everybody gets that second contract. Not everybody gets that big contract. They may have played 8 years, but they may have gotten that minimum. And for those who don't know, yeah, the minimum's a lot, but after taxes, that minimum ain't that much after all that, especially when you're around guys who got Ferraris and Bentleys and have $3 million homes, and you're like, I mean, I got $3 million in my bank. I mean, I can buy it, but is it a smart decision? That's the difference. You know, if you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, you're not gonna last very long. So I want all athletes to start paying attention to more of like, what are my interests? What am I into? What are my hobbies? What am I good at that can potentially continue to feed me after football? What job can I get into where I'm not pulling my hair every day and realizing that I have to do this to survive? Because nobody wants to have a job to survive. That's not living. I don't know what that is. It's just maintaining. Nobody wants to maintain. Everybody wants to live. So if you're in an opportunity to set yourself up to where you have this amount of money, save that. Realize how can I grow that? Or what can I do to get more? Does that mean, do I get a higher education? Do I go back to school? Do I network better? Do I use my connections in a way? It's all these things, but just know that 1, not everyone's going to make it to NFL. 2, not everyone's going to make it to D1. And 3, what are you going to do after football? What is it that what are you passionate about? What's something that makes you happy besides throwing a pigskin around? Because that's going to end one day, and that's a hard reality to kind of look at because it hasn't hit you. I said the same thing. I'm still gonna be playing. Sure. Year 6, I was like, 4 more years, baby, get that 10-year pension. Boom. What week was it? Week 6?
Yeah, 7 or 8.
On the 20s, on the 13, 15-yard line in the second quarter. Bam, my playing day is over. Next thing I know, I'm in my bedroom in the dark thinking, who am I? What do I do? I don't know what to do. I'm so used to having a set schedule. I know what I'm doing from 6 to 12. Now that football's over with, I have no meetings to go to. I have no job. I'm just at home trying to figure out what I want to do. At the same time, I'm lost. Now my whole identity, it's hard to say that when people say your whole identity is gone, you don't really understand it until it really hits you.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand because I always thought I'm a prominent football player. I'm a great guy. I treat people well and I'm good at this. And I know this is what's going to make me last for the rest of my life. And then that went away. It's like you're stripped butt naked in front of the whole world, and the whole world's looking at you like, what's now? And you're looking like, I don't know. And now this is when the depression starts setting in, the anxieties. This is when the alcohol starts coming into place. When you're in a room and you're secluded yourself in the world, that's when your mind starts taking over. And that's when you start oh, man, I gotta drink to not make me feel this way. I don't want to feel this way. I gotta pop this pill, or I gotta do this and that. And it's like that's setting you up for failure. And
Yep.
trust me, I've definitely been there. I've had my fair share of incidents where I should not be here right now. And I will tell all the players that it is a different transition from transitioning from high school to play in college to play in the pros. From playing football from since you were 7, 8 years old to now, say you're 22, 23, to now like realizing who am I? What do I do? What am I interested in? What am I going? How am I moving forward? What is my purpose? That's one thing. What is your purpose? Because this whole time you're thinking my purpose is play football, entertain these people. When you ain't gotta do it no more, it's like, okay, what is my real purpose? What am I really
Right.
here to do? Like football is just a game where we entertain people. It was a made up game. It's not really living. Now it's like, okay, what was my existence? Why am I here? There has to be a reason. We're not here to just for giggles. You know what I mean? Like there has to be a reason why I'm here. And to search that, you got to do new things. You got to try new things. You got to put yourself in uncomfortable positions. And this is something to all athletes out there. This is something I'm learning to this day. Like I have not figured out myself. I've got an understanding of what I should not do, but I'm still trying to figure out who I am as a person as well. I mentor kids. I'm trying to figure out what this player development job I'm hopefully getting into. I could go into broadcasting. There's a lot of things, a lot of avenues that I can do. It's just willing to try to do those things and understanding that you may not get those feelings that you had playing football, but you can find an alternate that has somewhat of those characteristics and those settings to where you got to compete or you
Yep.
got to prepare yourself for that week. It may not be because you're going to hit somebody, but you may have to prepare yourself for that important business or that important conference call that you have on Friday morning, or that important presentation that you're going to have for a 500 company. Like the little skills and characteristics that you're brought upon in football is literally preparing you for what's real life. It's just you got to find those transitions, those things that got you to how you were successful in football, and just transition in it to real life. Now, is it easy? No, because once again, I'm to this day still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure out who I am, so I'm trying to figure out what my purpose is. But for me to do that, I had to be able to be open to doing this and to open doing that. When I got retired, I was closed off. I was like, I'm good, I'm set. I don't really need to work for the rest of my life or anything. And then time gone on, it became from it was fun not having a schedule to like, all right, I'm going stir crazy. I'm having cabin fever. The walls are caving in on me. I need to get out. I need to do something. And that's when I had to be open. Maybe you should try teaching. I don't want to teach, but maybe I should try it. I don't know if I'm good at it. How would you know if you never try it? So that's when you start trying to be open to new ideas. And that's when you start realizing, oh, I'm good at this. I'm good at that. You put those two together, you find a job that has those two things, and you move on with your life. But those things that you guys are getting prepared for football, the way you prepare for the week, the way you prepare in the off season for the season, the way you're scheduled to be on time for meetings, the way you are brought up in front of team meetings, are told to present what this coverage is for this week is. All that's the same things about the conference calls, being on time for the conference calls, being prepared for your presentation, knowing exactly what you're doing, knowing your role in the business that you're in. All that translates. You just have to realize that all that football stuff is just a game. It was really for me to increase my skills in the real world, where one day I am going to have to enter in at some point in life. So if you take that and you take that mindset and you transfer it, you'll be successful. And then now, will you be successful like this over time? No, because you weren't successful in football overnight either. It took me a long time to realize that too. I got to the league and I remember you and mom were like, you've been playing football since you were 7. You're just now getting to the highest level. Now think about that. You're 20, I was 25, 27 at the time. And I was like, dang, it really took me 20 years to get where I'm at. So now you take that into consideration, realize that you are starting all the way over again. It's a grind. You're starting from you're now officially a rookie in real world. And that rookie real world is not the same as rookie in NFL, because everybody would love to have the NFL rookie life. I'm telling you, than to have the real life. All right, throw you to the sharks and really have to prepare for interviews, knowing how to interview, knowing how to prepare for interview with the boss, getting your resume. Like, these are things that I haven't done since high school. I haven't wrote a resume since high school, but I had to figure all that out to prepare myself to the real world, because I'm going to have to get a job, and to get a job, I have to interview. And if I have to interview, I might as well get used to preparing myself and how I can kill these interviews, so I don't have to worry about being anxious or nervous. Or, I mean, you're going to be nervous for an interview, but like scared, or, feeling very like not yourself. The only reason why you're not yourself because you didn't prepare. I've never met someone that did literally everything they had to do, and then when the time came was like, oh my God, I don't know if I could do this. There's no way. I've never seen it. And if you have, they're a very special breed. But to all athletes, everything you're doing now is really preparing you for what's going to happen when football is over with. How you become a better man, how you become a better person, how you become a better husband. Believe it or not, the relationships you have with your teammates, you apply the same things you do with your relationship with your girlfriend or whoever the case may be. It just doesn't have to be do with football. You're taking everything you've learned and built, and you grasp all the knowledge you have, and you just transfer it into something else, and you move on from there. So definitely, guys, pay attention to what you're passionate about, what your hobbies are, what you're interested in, and really dive into it. Really, like, get your hands dirty. Like, really try to invest yourself into that instead of relying on one plan, because one plan is gonna you're setting yourself up for failure, focusing on one thing when that one thing is not going to last you for the rest of your life. It'd have been different if football was going to be the rest of your life. If it was football, then we were all guaranteed to have this life for the rest of our lives, then we would have a different conversation. But this is not guaranteed, and none of us know when our last game is. Some are fortunate to have those 20 plus years and to have $100 million in their account and never have to work a day in their lives. And then there are others who only have 2 years experience and got a minimum, had a practice squad, didn't have the opportunities for whatever reason, and now they are kicked on the street, and now they're wondering, what do I do now?
Right.
And for those who left, and for those who are going to leave early, go back and get your education. Coming from a guy who got his second contract, who has millions in his bank account, even I had to go back, and because the dream job that I wanted, that I could have had, I didn't get because I didn't have a degree. And I was like, but I have all the experience. I have way more experience than this guy does. But in the real world, it's just something you have to have. I don't make the rules in the game. I just play it. I know how to play it. And that's what you have to realize, that there are some things that you don't want to do and you don't like. Unfortunately, that's just what life has to do. You have to do some things that you don't want to do to move further. And whether that get you a job, get you an interview, doing side hustles, whatever the case may be, find wherever that niche is and stick with it. Don't just focus on one thing, because focus on one thing is gonna set yourself up for failure. So,
Aaron, great nuggets, son. I can't tell you how much you are just dropping knowledge and pouring into these high school and collegiate and maybe some younger pro athletes with your story here. I didn't want to make this a fan interview, but I think we did a great job of helping these guys who may be struggling with all the things you talked about, from mental health to preparation to the mental side, all those things. I really appreciate you sharing your story. We look forward to having you back on here again. Anybody that wants to reach out to Aaron, he's very active on Twitter. He's very active on Instagram. He's a big gamer. If you want to get some, you want to catch some hands in Call of Duty or whatever, I'm sure you'll be able to find him. He does a lot of great things, but he is passionate about helping the next generation of student athletes, whether you play football or not, or you are playing football. So don't be afraid to reach out to him on social media. Aaron, thank you for your time. We appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right.